All right guys, so we've got a problem. Well, I've got a problem. About 18 months ago, I made this big, huge paludarium tank for my day gecko and red-eyed tree frog. I also had some fish, some shrimp and crabs and all kinds of stuff in there. Well, yesterday I was here with Zach and we were, I was editing some videos. He came by to help me do a photo shoot and like wrangle spiders. We were looking at this enclosure and he noticed some water right around the seam, and we started doing some investigation and we noticed that it was definitely leaking. We cleaned up all the water. We went and did some photos for about an hour or so, came back, the water was back. So it was right here, all along the bottom. We were seeing a little bit of beaded water, and it also came over here on the sides. And then where the enclosure was actually hitting the stand, there was just the tiniest amount of water. And not that you could notice it, but not enough that it was like dripping onto the ground or anything. So I had Zach remove the day gecko and the tree frog out of there. He also got all the fish out, as many as the shrimp as we could, drained all the water, pulled out all the rocks and plants and all that kind of stuff. Got the day gecko over here. Ooh, down here. We got the tree frog hiding in there. As far as the fish and everything, so the shrimp, we moved down in here. This is just the shrimp tank. And then all the fish we put over here in the crawdad tank because the crawdad finally died of old age. So we moved all the fish in there, a bunch of babies, a bunch of guppies, or I'm sorry, tetras, mollies, and it looks like there's some shrimp in there as well. I tried to keep all the red shrimp over here, all the green, blue, yellow, all orange, like everything else over in this one. All right, so let's go back. So I'm really bummed out. I like that enclosure. I thought it was really cool, and the gecko and the frog, more importantly, seemed to really like it. They were thriving in there. I was thinking at first we'll just clean everything out and then just re-silicone it and fill it back up and just go back to where it was. But the more I thought about it, the more I decided that's not really what I wanted to do. As cool as that enclosure was, it never was exactly what I was wanting. It never really looked how I wanted it to look, at least with the water feature. Like I really had an idea in my mind that it would just be like a small, kind of like a pond with land kind of coming up. So it would be like a transition, be like right along the shore. Like that's what I wanted. I never was able to do that. It always seemed that the land would come collapsing in and try to even out. And it just was just, I don't know. It was a mess and I was never happy with it. So I'm gonna do something different this time. So instead of doing it exactly like it was last time, I'm gonna do it this time with no water feature at all. What I really wanna do is just kind of create a jungle in here. I'm gonna get some substrate and we're gonna do a false layer, like a false bottom, and then substrate, and then I've got some really big pieces of cork bark that we're gonna add in here for trees, kind of work all this pothos and like bromeliads and things like that are ready to go in here, or that were in here and now can go back. I had some other ideas, like I wanted to add a waterfall or maybe something, like a pond or something, I don't know. With it coming up on the holidays, I've got like 5 different videos that I'm working on simultaneously. I think the best thing to do is the simplest thing, and we're just gonna build a little forest floor and put the gecko and the frog back in there, and we'll revisit it later on. So since I can't get to work editing the videos that I've been filming this whole week, since I gotta deal with this, because this is like the most important thing at the moment, I think I'm just gonna turn this into a video for you, which you figured out because you're watching it right now. But I'm gonna take you through exactly how I rebuild this enclosure. I'm not sure if this is like a manufacturing defect, like the silicone just got old and stopped working, or if it wasn't put on very well. I'm not sure. Initially, I thought maybe there was a crack, like we dropped a rock inside there and cracked the aquarium bottom, and that's why it was leaking. But after having pulled everything out, I mean, there's no crack. You can see there are no cracks anywhere in here. A little bit of dirt and stuff like that, but I looked really, really closely. I can't find even the smallest little fracture. So it's gotta be the silicone. And I'm not gonna have it like a super humid, super moist setup. So the fact that there might be a little bit of water on the bottom in that drainage layer, I don't think is gonna be enough that it's gonna have the pressure to push it out through there, because, you know, I water tested that enclosure before I built it. I've had it running for a year and a half now, and I haven't had any issues. So I know it was watertight and working up until this point, and I'm hoping that it was just so much water in there that the water pressure was able to, I don't know, overcome the silicone or overpower it and break it down. I mean, at any rate, it's not gonna be holding water, so I think that the silicone will be good enough to last, at least until we get through the holidays, and then, you know, maybe in like January, February, March, somewhere like that, I'll go ahead and break down the whole thing, re-silicone it, and just start from scratch. But right now, I need to make sure that this gecko and this tree frog have the best possible habitat that they can have in the time being, and I don't wanna just throw them in a small enclosure. I mean, they've been spoiled living in that big paludarium, so I don't wanna move them into like a 18 by 18 by 24 and cut their size to like a third of what they're used to. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna let you follow along and watch the process. I hope it's educational or enjoyable at least. All right, so I've got it all cleaned out. Well, mostly cleaned out. It's clean enough. Time and money, supplies, everything's tight. So I'm gonna reuse some of the aquarium gravel and the substratum that I had in the actual paludarium. That's gonna be like the drainage layer. I'm gonna put that on the bottom. I'm gonna put a screen on top, and then I'm gonna put some of the Terra Flora, maybe the Terra Fauna, one of the more tropical biodude substrates on there. And we're gonna go full bioactive. There's gonna be BioShot, there's gonna be leaves, sphagnum moss, springtails, isopods, the whole 9 yards. That's where we're gonna start. And once I get that base layer done, we'll start working on some of the hardscapes. So let's get going.
All right. I probably should have thought this through. All right, there he is. There's our tree frog friend. Let's see, can we get him to jump up at all? No. Come on, buddy. I don't want to touch him, but maybe. Yeah, There he is. Oh man, he is so cool. Now this is the day gecko. She is beautiful. And she's also very fast, so I'm gonna have to really plan this out. So we're gonna go ahead and shut. Oh no, the camera's in the way. Okay, you can run out. Going out? There's somewhere to hide. All right. We'll just leave her there. See what happens. What do you think of the new setup? It's pretty cool, huh? You never talk back to me. So everybody see how beautiful you are. Nice big Madagascar giant day gecko.
So I am currently editing the video and just realized that the outro had no audio whatsoever. Like, I recorded it. I must have accidentally turned off the mic or something. So here we are a few days later and the enclosure is done. The day gecko is right here. The tree frog's under one of those leaves, but it's working really well. They're thriving. I just want to let you know that I got all the supplies in here. Everything I used in here came from the Bio Dude, and I do have an affiliate link with them I will put in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Click that link, it'll take you there. Anything you buy, a small fraction will come back to help support the channel, so I really appreciate that. I love their products. You can't go wrong with the Bio Dude. But just check this out. It is beautiful. Everything seems to be doing really well. I don't know, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Very excited. So if you want to see more about this enclosure and more enclosures that I've built, I will leave a playlist of videos right here. As always, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for buying Tarantula Collective merchandise, and I will see you next Tuesday.